Hi YouTube, I'm back. I am going to answer a bunch of questions I was asked on my Instagram. For anyone who is trying to get to know me, there's a lot of kind of get to know me questions, and there is a handful of nutrition based questions. Because if you don't know, I have an online nutrition coaching business. I predominantly prescribe macros. I like to teach people how much protein they need, what that looks like, how many carbs they need, what that looks like, how much fat they need, what that looks like for their unique body and their unique goals. Can we be so, look at the curls. What? Sorry, my hair is naturally this way. It's just sometimes, it was straight for 3 days and now it's like this. And so it's just wild. I'm gonna go through these questions to, answer my followers and stuff like that, and have you guys get to know me a little bit more and answer some of your nutrition questions. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So the first question is, what is your favorite part of your daily routine? I gotta say, I've always been a morning person. And so my mornings on the days that I train, I wake up at 4 a.m. Because I still work a 9 to 5. So I like to train before work because in IT, especially, after hours aren't, your workday doesn't usually end at 5 o'clock. And so I also have customers in Arizona and they're 2 hours behind Illinois or Central Time. So a lot of my days don't end at 5 and they sneak over into the evenings. And I like to just have my time to train and to focus. So I wake up, brush my teeth, get dressed. I take my dog outside. I have a little dachshund. That's my sweet boy. And then right now I have a gym in my apartment complex. And so I just go downstairs, rip my lift. I still love training. Training will probably always be my first love. The gym will always be there in my life. I'll usually do cardio if it's not an upper body day. Shower, and then it's Leo's real walk time. We'll go on a good 1.5 to 2 mile walk. Maybe that's my favorite part of my daily routine, but big morning person. The second question here is, what's the best thing you've eaten recently? I gotta say, it's this, and not to be the healthy girl, but it's this new recipe I just tried for no bake cookie dough bars. It was I used coconut flour, oat flour, maple syrup, peanut butter, and chocolate chips, and then you turn that into the base of the bar, and then you melt dark chocolate on, and you put it all over on top, and you just put it in the fridge you basically set overnight. They are fucking fantastic. So if you want that recipe, shoot me a message and I'll give it to you. Third question. What is a hobby you've always wanted to try? I've done everything I wanted to do hobby-wise. And maybe something will come up as I get older and as I have kids and stuff like that. But I'm not someone that sits around and thinks about something. I go do it. And so last year I was I want to run a 10K. Running was what everyone was doing. And so I downloaded the app Runna and I fucking trained and ran a 5K and a 10K. And I liked it, but I just missed the gym. I missed the weights. I was still training during this time, but I was fucking tired from the running. The longest run I went on was 11 miles. And that, I don't think at the time I was eating enough either. You really do have to eat a lot when you're running. I'm an artist. I've drawn since I was a kid. My aunt owns a gallery, and I think I have some art on my dad's, artists on my dad's side, and maybe that's where I got my creativity from. But I draw. I love decorating. I'm just telling you all the hobbies I've done. I don't think there's anything else I can think of right now that I've always wanted to try hobby-wise. All right, this question here is, what is your favorite way to spend a weekend? Now, I think this is going to evolve because I have some new chapters opening up in my life. But for the longest time, it was sleep in, no alarm. I usually wake up at 8 o'clock anyway when I sleep in. Rip a long walk with Leo when the weather's nice. Walk to a coffee shop, grab a coffee, walk. Usually grocery store, some sort of self-care thing. Cleaning. I'll clean up on Saturdays, or like I don't go to the gym on Saturdays. Some sort of evening event with like friends or something. And then Sundays, it's another, long walk with Leo. And then I usually do train on Sundays, and then I'll meal prep. And then if I didn't eat out Saturday, I'll probably eat out Sunday. Just to like, I've cooked all day. I don't want to cook. So order something or go somewhere. But yeah, I'm pretty low key on the weekends. They might be changing though, because of some stuff that's developing in my life. And then this is the last kind of about me question I'm going to answer, but it's, what all do you do? And I think this is because I do a lot. And so my 9 to 5 is I'm a program manager for an managed service provider IT solutions company. I have a really heavy technical background. I was a software developer for about 4 years, and I held different hats in networking and DevOps and security roles and stuff like that. And then I worked my way into a Scrum Master role, which is like project management for software development projects. And then I fell into project and program management, which is more for like fixed contract type projects. But with an MSP, I'm exposed to all types of technology. So I'm kind of a nerd. And I love people, and I love leading people, and I love operations. I love process refinement. I love working smarter and not harder. And so that's what I do for my 9 to 5. And then I'm also an online nutrition coach. So I have clients that I coach them on their nutrition, whether that's macro-based or macro-based meal plans. I did used to do programming and training for people. I've shifted away from that because I feel like there's enough out there for people to know what to do in the gym, and there's not enough out there for people to understand how to fuel their bodies, how to lose fat, how to build muscle, how to even support yourself metabolically and hormonally. I have a girl who she could give a fuck less about what she looked like. She really cares about how she feels like and her blood work and her hormones. And so I think there's a lot of, I think I even did this, overlooking what food can do for you and healing things like, low estrogen, low progesterone, high cortisol, gut issues, stress, all that stuff. And so it's become a pretty big passion of mine. And yeah. So I guess that's what I do on a daily basis. I obviously record content. I edit my own content. I'm constantly learning and trying to get better as a coach and as a leader in my IT space, as a person who had a lot of trauma growing up as a kid, Yeah, that's all that I do. I think in a nutshell, I love to fucking cook. Obviously, I love food. I love food. I love walking. I love food. I love walking. I love working. I think I'm a handful of people in the world who says that they love working. I love it. It brings me a lot of purpose. Okay, so we're gonna get into, I pulled all of these questions out of my Instagram and chucked them into a Google Doc. So the first question here, is fresh produce better than frozen? No. So fresh fruit and vegetables are just fresh. Like it's they're often more affordable, frozen stuff, and then they often have a longer shelf life. I usually always have both on hand. I go through a container of blueberries a day, but I always have frozen blueberries and frozen peaches for recipes. I actually prefer frozen blueberries in my Greek yogurt bowls that I make, but I always have an emergency frozen vegetable in my freezer, because sometimes my normal vegetables or my not frozen vegetables go bad. So neither are worse. I will say stay away from, unless, I don't know, some of the frozen vegetables with sauce, have some pretty scary ingredients in there. I'm just a big single ingredient person. Now, don't get me wrong. I have shit in my fridge right now with ingredients I can't pronounce. Everything in moderation. So no, fresh produce is not better than frozen. Are carbs bad for you? No, carbs are not bad for you. Carbs give you energy. Carbs help you stay fueled throughout the day, help you get stronger and grow at the gym. Carbs are a necessary energy source. And so I take this back to when I would cut for shows. On my rest days, I have, and I do this too for my meal plan clients and my macro clients. On the days that I'm resting and that I'm not as active and I'm not training, my carbs are lower because my body doesn't need as much energy. My body still needs energy. Sitting here and talking like this and thinking like this, your body is burning calories. So you should not be going completely carb free. Carbs are not bad for you. I will say a lot of people eat too many carbs, not enough protein, not enough fat. So it's all a distribution. It's all going to be your carb intake is all going to be relative upon you, your resting metabolic rate, how many calories you burn at rest, what you're training for, what your daily basis is, your basis of like activity is like. Insulin as well. A lot of people can be insulin sensitive, but there's a lot of stuff that needs to be taken in consideration there in regard to like your specific carb intake. How much water should I drink? General recommendation is 1 gallon a day, which I still do recommend. When I was running, I was drinking more than 1 gallon a day, but I'd say I had about a gallon of just water a day, but then I also had maybe 16 ounces plus of electrolytes and salts, because when you sweat, you're not just losing water, you're also losing potassium, magnesium, and sodium from your body. So the goal is just aim for 1 gallon a day and you're gonna be good. You're gonna pee a lot. You're gonna pee a lot. Do I need to avoid fruit due to sugar? No. I think there's a strategic way to place fruit in your diet, like timing around certain activities and how you pair fruit with the other ingredients in your meals to avoid extreme insulin spikes. Fruits provide essential vitamins and fiber, which your body needs. Fruit is nature's sugar. Fruit is nature's sweets. Like a Honeycrisp apple is probably gonna satisfy your sweet tooth craving versus going for like the chocolate bar, you know, or the Milky Way or whatever the fuck it is that you go for. You don't need to avoid fruit. Sugar is not bad. I think there is a lot of unique considerations to be made about, you know, the people with diabetes and stuff like that. Placing a fruit with like a fat and a protein can help slow down or avoid that insulin spike from being so high. Having fast digesting carbs, which is fruit, pre and post workout is super, super good for you. And then honestly, anytime I'm craving something, that's where that container of blueberries comes in. I take those down. The last question I will answer here is kind of big, and there's a lot of questions I have in here, but how can I manage my weight? The blanketed answer I'm gonna give you is focus on finding sustainable eating habits for you in your life, rather than quick fixes. I think the internet now, and especially the age of like GLPs and Retta, people are looking for that quick fix. I want this done now. What I'm hearing from a lot of people and even clients that are acquiring with me, you know, I did a GLP and I lost all the weight, but now I don't know how to eat. I don't know how to fuel my body. I don't know what is right, what is wrong. Essentially, they didn't learn the tools for longevity. And back to that key word I said, finding sustainable eating habits for you, something that you can sustain in the long run. You can't be on GLPs forever. I'm pretty sure it's melting your fucking brain being on a GLP. And just like, what is it? Ariana Grande looks like she's fucking dying. Like, whatever, that's none of my business. I think find something sustainable, something that you can stick to, something that you love, something primarily whole food based. And then portion control is a huge thing in here. And that's why I teach macros. Macros are going to show you what you should have quantity wise for each meal, whether that's 3 meals, 4 meals, 2 meals, so on and so forth. That's what I teach. But then finding an activity that you love. I think a lot of us think that we need to do Pilates because everyone's doing Pilates and that's the girl that you want to look like, or you need to run because that's kind of the old school mentality of like how to lose weight is like start running. But like if you fucking hate it, don't fucking do it. Like I did a lot of high intensity interval training throughout my first and second prep when I was a bikini competitor. And I did love it. I loved it until I didn't. And I had to keep doing it. And now that I'm outside of competing and I can kind of pick and choose how I want to get in my cardio, I fucking love walking. I love it. I love being outside. I love going to different places and walking around and seeing what's out and about. I love trying new places. And I mean, I walk everywhere with my dog. I love training. I love strength training. That will always be in my life no matter what. I love progressing. I love seeing my body change. Find something that you can do for a long time and that makes you happy. Find a plan that you don't have to suffer through. And ideally, I don't know, GLPs have a time and a place, don't get me wrong, but I say those are the key pillars to hit, and then honestly get some accountability. Find a coach, find someone who's going to hold you accountable and who's going to adapt your plan for you, because that's honestly what changed, my life and why I wanted to get into the coaching space. I learned so much from these coaches I had over the years. What to do, what not to do, how to make a client feel, communication, I say baselines that you need to have with your clients. I think my brain is starting to stall out a little bit here. I didn't sleep too much last night. If there's anything else you guys want to know, you can drop them in the comments. You can follow me on Instagram. I've got a ton of content in there. I might answer some of your questions. I'll see you guys in another video sometime. Ideally once a week, but we'll see.